What's going on, YouTube? It is your boy Autonomia, and today I'm going to be showing y'all how I made my song Home, while also giving you a little brief of what the song is about, why I made it, and yeah. So before I get started, if y'all end up liking these kind of like tutorial slash story times for why I make these songs, let me know in the comments. Let me know if y'all want more of these, and I can make more videos like this. I want this to feel like natural, like it's just me talking to y'all. So it's not gonna feel like I'm selling you something. You can listen to the song when it comes out if you want, but this is more of like a diary for me. So when I can look back and just like, yeah, this is what I felt when I made these songs. So this is more of a natural, no selling point, just me ranting. Yeah. So the beat's loading up, the file's loading up. So I'm gonna talk about why I made this song. Growing up, I've always had trouble feeling accepted by the people I'm around. Most of which I feel like those people back then, from like my middle school, high school days, never really like. It feels like they just had me there to have me there, not really see me as like an actual friend or person that needs to have vent talks or like rants about whatever. They just kind of like, I'm just there. No importance of anything. Just, oh, it's shorted. Oh, it's auto. And those kinds of feelings suck because you don't have anybody. You don't have a friend, or you're too scared to talk to your parents about what you're feeling, what you're going through. And yeah, so I never had, or at least I never felt like I had any connection that would resemble a loving home. I've always felt alone, always felt like I had to do things myself, always felt like I had to be by myself because nobody thought I mattered. And yeah, and even to this day, like, I've made new friends and I think they're amazing, really do. But it's a mental issue of always just thinking that I'm not gonna be important to anyone, and never really have that feeling of that nice loving home, nice loving family and friends that actually want you around, support what you're doing, and help you move forward with life in your future until it's all over. So Home is basically a song that's just me seeking that kind of relationship, that kind of environment where I can feel like I'm having that nice, loving friends, family, that nice home that I desire so much. And I always feel like people always like overlook these kinds of people because we don't show it. We always feel like, I feel like we always, like, these types of people that I'm referring to, that's me. I feel like we always fake it. We always hide our true feelings because deep down, if we fake it, we might end up actually finding what we're looking for, and faking it just makes it worse on the inside. But that's kind of like my whole thought process for this song. as to why I feel like this, I've been battling depression for like a really long time. So it's hard to kind of like picture myself in a scenario where I can be happy, where I can find someone who values me and respects me and supports my what I do, and not get into this depression slump every day. It's really it's a hard thing to battle every day, and I think that's part of why I somewhat like being a creator, a music artist, Twitch streamer. It's because it kind of uh, distracts you from that kind of thought process. Because I'm focusing on the audience, the music, like all these other distractions. But once these things are over, once like I have to sit in thought by myself for a little bit, it's negative thought these negative thoughts roll in, and it's a war game all over again. So it's really hard to explain like being depressed. It's just kind of just there. It most of it is from just most of it's just from past experiences of just being ignored, getting talked over, things like that. Your boy is fighting it. I will say that it's not a easy fight, but it's a fight that I feel like I'm managing pretty well. And I have hope one day I can find, or at least not find, but see that I have that loving home that I'm desiring for. I'm gonna go ahead and get into this beat tutorial. So I'm in a process where I like to do everything 100% by me. One, you get most of your money that way when you release a song, and if it does really well, you don't have to worry about paying the royalties for anyone. Unless if it's a feature, like if I made this beat and I decided to give it a feature to someone, then obviously I would give them percentage of that royalty because they're in the song. But since I've made everything myself and I'm releasing everything and I'm putting it that I made it because I did, all the support and all the like royalties and stuff go to me. So if you're worried about money and you don't want to share your money, I advise you make everything yourself. So yeah. So basically everything in this file is made with guitar plugins, synth plugins, and drum patterns. I will show you how you can do guitar plugins without a guitar. I feel like there's a lot of tutorials out there that if you're trying to make like a rock song, shoegaze song, alternative rock, indie song, whatever, anything that involves a guitar, I feel like there's always tutorials out there that do not show how to make your melodies without a guitar. It is very important that you learn guitar, but if you don't know how to play guitar, then there are ways that you can make a rock sound without it. First thing I'm going to start with the intro of the song, which is what we have here. started off with a piano key. This is what the chord progression looks like for the piano. It's a fifth, ninth. If y'all don't know what chords are, just study. You can study chords, or FL Studio has a log that you can go from. So you fifth, ninth, fifth, ninth, and then this is basically what we did the entire time. It does change a little bit, but this is the bass that I used. These two are fifth nines. This one, I believe it's just a fifth. Should be just a fifth. Well, these two, I did a fifth, but then I just added this one on top, and then so on and so forth. Like I said, if you don't know chords, I would advise you learn chords, because the entire FL system here is all piano system, which means you got to learn the chords of a piano, kind of. So, yeah, Xpan. Made it all off of Xpan. Mark II. And I feel like if you have Xpan or Omnisphere, these are really good plugins to get your piano sounds really nice. Actual live piano plugins, I would say like Addictive Keys or something would be a good I would recommend. So yeah. Then we have this little like pad, I would say. It just helps to give it that atmosphere. Yep, pretty. It's pretty simple, but it's a lead. It's a soft lead. It has like a patty sound lead. It's a patty sound style lead, and it just works well. I thought it worked well with the beat. A lot of people, this is where people start getting confused on how to work with these guitar plugins and stuff. So I will show you. The bass. I've set this for my previous video when I made my tutorial for Reborn. I always do two basses. You have your actual bass guitar, and then you have a Reese bass. You want to make sure your bass guitar is solid before putting on the Reese bass. The guitar bass is the overall framework for your bass. The Reese bass just helps make it more full. So, this is the pattern we have. Pretty simple. It's a simple bass pattern. You can make it more complex if you're doing more like indie rock stuff, because indie rock songs, kind of like What's a Heart and David, have a pretty complex bass pattern. But for this particular song, it's just a simple pattern. So this is what it sounds like. Yeah, pretty simple. And then when you add the Reese bass, this is what you get. And let me play it by itself so that way you can hear it. Cool. So yeah, when they're together, it makes this. But yeah, when you get them together, you get this. And to get that kind of grungy like bass sound, all you're really gonna do when you mix it, when you get ready to mix it, you want to put a fruity fast distort on it. That's what's making it sound like grungy, like super, I guess, punk rockish. And then just EQ it a little bit. I EQ'd it twice. I did a little advanced EQing here, but it doesn't really have to be that advanced. You really just need to make sure that you leave you leave out some bass for your vocal range if you have bass in your vocals, and then the drums. All right. The next part I'm going to go over is the guitars, another important part of rock music. So we have this one. And this one. And this one. And together sound like this. And you want it, if you're doing like a shoegaze rock kind of sound, you want it to sound muddy. I think that's what makes them like hit harder. I think that's what makes like the whole track sound very nice, is that it's not a perfect clean guitar playing sound. So that's why it sounds a lot reverby, but I prefer it that way. And you will understand why it sounds like that once we get towards the end of the tutorial here. All right. So basically, we're gonna go into Contact. If you don't have Contact, I believe it's like $10 for a subscription. But the real knit and grit of this entire thing is 2 guitar plugins. All right. You can't really see it because for some reason, as I'm looking at my right screen, for some reason the image just is fucked up really bad. But you're going to get this thing called Shredded Stratus free, or you can get the Electric Sunburst Deluxe. These two, the shredded Stratus free is obviously free, and you have more control making weird. You'll have more control over the guitar sound that you're trying to do. You just have to do more like edits in the amp system with Guitar Rig. But Electric Sunburst can give you an already preamped guitar sound. It does its own strumming patterns, and it makes it a little easier for you to just work with the chords. But if you want complete control of your guitar, like the strumming patterns and the amp sounds, just go with Shredded Stratus free, and excuse me, and use your own amp plugins for your guitars if you have any. So yeah. And then obviously I use Stratus Free for these guitar sounds. So I'm going to show you what presets I use for that. If these plugins will load. They don't load on my screen. So sorry. Anyways, but I don't know why they don't show up. But I use Stratus Free, and I have Guitar Rig 7. So I'm using the effects on Guitar Rig 7. And then I put reverb on it. A lot of reverb on it actually, and decay. And then I EQ'd it twice. And then the same thing goes for the other two guitars. Okay. Next, we have another kind of synthy element in the track. I did expand for this. And it's just another synth. And this is the pattern for the synth, and this is what it sounds like. All right. So basically, I took the bass notes of the bass guitar, and then I pressed Alt 5, not Alt 5, Alt A to do an abbreviator, and then that's how it ended up doing these random notes right here. I think it added a really cool element to the hook of the song. And yeah, with all the elements together besides the drums, this is what it sounds like. Yeah, so there are a few ways you can do your drums. You can put in everything yourself, which is what I believe I did. Or you can use a drum plugin, which controls everything. For me, I think I did the drums all manually. Yeah, it's hard to see, but I did them all manually here. Yeah. But I'll show you each individual sound. I believe this is the kick. We have our snare. And I believe this is the hook snare. Very aggressive. It's very aggressive, but it works when everything comes together. And then we have our crashes. Yeah. And those don't have that much of effects. The only thing I did was give, I think, the kick and the snare a gain and then reverb. That's pretty much it. But when you put everything together for the hook, it should sound like this. Yep. Next we have the vocals. For vocals, I try to do something similar to an artist named Mix Matches. I guess I can pull up a song real quick. All right, so the sounds that I've tried to emulate are an artist named What's a Heart and then another artist named Mix Matches. So this is kind of his voice. This is What's a Heart's voice. Yeah. And then the other one is called Mix Matches. But yeah, so I really wanted a voice like that, or try to make a voice like that, and with all the writing I did and melody practices that I did over this beat, this is what I came up with. You sink in my skin, all your words that I breathe in, the way it's hard to just forgive. I took for granted all I live. Am I an asshole for thinking I could be more? It's like a damn night in search of something pure in the twilight. I always feel insecure. I need a bright light that makes me feel like. Yeah. So basically, there's a higher end and there's a lower end. This would be the higher end. Okay, and then we have the lower end. You sink in my skin, all your words that I breathe in, the way it's hard to just forgive. I took for granted all how to live. Am I an asshole for thinking I could be more? It's like a damn night in search of something pure in the twilight. I always feel insecure. I need a bright light that makes me feel like. And then together they sound like this. You sink in my skin, all your words that I breathe in, the way it's hard to just forgive. I took for granted all I live. Am I an asshole for thinking I could be more? It's like a damn night in search of something pure in the twilight. I always feel insecure. I need a bright light that makes me feel like. So yeah, I will show you how I mix this. So this involves a lot of vocal tracks. I always start with a fruity limiter, an EQ, gain, de-esser, auto tunes like towards the very bottom, then reverb, delay, and then my two favorite plugins, little Alter Boy, which help you with like getting that higher pitched or lower pitched vocal. I have a lot of fun using it. I've been using it for majority of my songs now, and I think it adds a really good touch to the song, or like the vocals in the song. And then just a little more effects so I can give it. I was really trying to get that Mix Matches What's a Heart like reverb sound. So these are the plugins for it. I can go more in depth about like the plugins I'm using for my vocals, but I'm just giving y'all the basis of what I used. And then this was for the higher end, same thing. But yeah, all together, this is basically what it sounds like. yeah, so that's how I made home. This is how I make my music. I always start with making the beat, then I brainstorm some lyric ideas, and here we go. Um, but yeah, I should. But if you guys like these tutorials, let me know, and I can make some more. I am gonna do another tutorial for how I made my upcoming song after home, Bitter. I think Bitter's probably the one of the best songs I've made so far, and I would like to share how I made it and the story behind that song as well. If y'all like the story time for why I make these songs, let me know in the comments, and I will see you guys. And I will see you guys in the next video or music video. Later.